battery banks. Not very sexy, I know. But I have this weird thing for power solutions, and I think I might have found the best battery bank solution on the market at the moment. These things are designed with professionals in mind, and they can power basically any device. They do AC power, DC power, USB-A, USB-C power delivery, they do all of it. Let's explore. Now, personally, I don't like dodgy power solutions. I don't think it's worth risking your cameras, your valuable electronics on something cheap that might fry whatever you plug into it. Now, in my search for excellent power solutions, I came across this brand, OmniCharge, which offer, in my opinion, some of the best battery bank solutions on the market at the moment. And I'm pretty sure I've bought pretty much every model that they've ever produced. And I've done it so you don't have to. You can just pick the one that works best for you. If you want to skip to a particular model, I'm going to have time codes down in the description so that you can jump ahead, as I have a feeling that this might be a long video. Let's get into it. So we're going to start with the Omni 20 series. Now, the Omni 20 series, we have 3 of these across 2 different models, the Omni 20 Plus and the Omni 20C. Now we're gonna start with the Omni 20 Plus. This one here is the one that we use the most. It is an absolute workhorse in our production business, and this is the original version. Now, the newer Plus version, which I'm gonna be talking about, has one new addition, and that is next to the DC port, they've added a USB-C power delivery port to give you even more power options out of this one battery. And this thing has been described as the Swiss Army knife of power ports, and that description is pretty accurate. All right, let's start by talking about the form factor. Now, this thing is a really nicely constructed unit. It feels really solid in the hands. There's nothing that feels like it's going to have any risk of breaking. It's got a nice rubberized coating over the top, which helps to protect the unit. And it just has a really nice tactile feel to it. And we've been using these things for literally years, like probably going on 5-6 years now, and it has absolutely no signs of slowing down. This thing has been abused and used on a heap of different devices, and they're still going strong. So excellent form factor in both of these models. Both the Omni 20 Plus and the Omni 20C have the same battery capacity. So that's a capacity of 20,000 milliamp hours or 71 watt hours. So you can fly with both of these units, both internationally and domestically, and we've flown over to New Zealand with these, taken these in our carry-on luggage with absolutely no issues. But as always, check with your airline before you fly with any kind of battery power. These are pretty light, coming in at only 611 grams, and their operating temperature is between the 0 degrees and 40 degrees Celsius. So they have a wide operating temperature, and that in fact covers the entire OmniCharge range. They have this really nice little OLED display just here, which gives you a ton of information. It will tell you what power sources you're drawing from, so you can actually toggle some of these buttons here and turn them on. So at the moment, we've got USB power and AC power both activated. It will tell you the operating temperature. It will tell you how much draw you're currently drawing. It will tell you the battery capacity as well as a range of other useful things. And knowledge is power, and this battery gives you a heap of that. It's a very, very intelligent battery pack with a lot of technology under the hood. All right, now let's have a look at all of the different power outputs on this thing. So let's start with AC, which is the major draw card of this unit, is that you can run AC devices up to 100 watts of power, which is phenomenal. Now in Australia, I need to add an AC converter to this. It has a European and a US combined AC port. This particular model is the international model, which runs at 230 volts AC. So this is awesome. I use this to power a range of different things. If we've got an audio recorder that for some reason doesn't run for a particularly long time with batteries, I'll plug the A and C into this. I've even plugged in lights, practical lamps, and things like that, where you don't want to run an AC cable across the background of shot, or in locations where you don't have access to AC power. These become really, really valuable. Through the same port, you can also change this from AC to high voltage DC for the devices that are compatible with that. Things like most laptops and other certain electronic devices can accept high voltage DC, and that takes away any electronic hum or hiss or buzz that you sometimes get from the inverters in these units. And this can do up to 130 volts high voltage DC for the US model, or 300 volts for the international European model. The Plus version has USB-C power delivery up to 60 watts. This model, the original version, didn't have that. And it's also got 2 USB-A ports on the front as well. So this one has one quick charge 3.0 port and one 5 volt 3 amp USB-A port for fast charging things like phones or any kind of normal USB device. If we flip this model around, we've got a DC barrel as well. This is a 5.5 by 2.1 mil DC port, and you can power so many things out of this. It has variable DC output from 5 volts up to 25 volts with a max of 5 amps. So it can give you a maximum of 100 watts out of this DC port. So if you've got monitors that you need to charge at a 12 volt, if you've got little LED lights that you need to power, you can power pretty much any DC accessory or device that you want, and you can dial in the specific voltage that you need up to, I think, 0.1, which is really, really accurate. In fact, you can even power MagSafe Apple laptops as well. So you can look actually on the bottom of this one here. I have my little MagSafe cheat sheet, and you can dial in the specific voltage for your model of laptop, and you can power your older style Apple MacBook Pros and MacBook Airs and things like that on the go with this device, which is really, really handy. And it's not just Apple laptops either. You can power a range of different laptops that have a DC input. So it's a very, very accurate. You can dial in exactly the voltage that you need so that you'll never damage your device. So as I said, this is the original version, but on the new Plus version, there's the addition of a USB-C power delivery port on this side of the battery. And that can do up to 60 watts, which means that that can power new USB-C laptops, which is really, really cool. And then the last charging option with this is it actually has wireless charging as well. So you don't need to have any cables in order to charge your phone. You can just rest it on the top of the unit and it will start charging automatically. And that is a 10-watt wireless charging device. So they're the different output options that you get from this device. And as you can see, it's very, very versatile. But how do you charge this unit? Well, there's two ways that you can charge it. On the Omni 20 Plus, you can charge either via the DC barrel, which will accept anywhere from 5 up to 25 volts of DC power, up to 3 amps. So basically any DC 5.5 by 2.1 mil standard DC plug that you've got or charger that you've got, you can throw out this thing. If you get the bundle package, it does come with a DC charger included, which is like a 19 volt charger, so it charges this very, very quickly. You can get full charge on this unit in under 3 hours if you're up there in about that 19 volt range, so very, very quick. And on the Plus version, you can also charge this by USB-C up to 45 watts. Couple of other features on this unit is this actually has pass-through charging, which is really, really cool. So if you've got a half full or a dead battery, you can plug in either via the DC port or the USB-C port to charge the battery, and it will still output either USB-A or AC power. So you can continue to charge other devices while you're charging the battery, which is super, super helpful. You can also charge this thing via solar panels. That's right, solar panels. So you can hook up any solar panel up to 45 watts to this unit via the DC port. And you can charge this when you're out and about, out on the go. If you're out camping or you're somewhere where you don't have access to AC power, then you can charge it that way as well. And probably my favorite feature of all of these is, as I said before, it's a very intelligent battery, but it has 11 layers of protection that protect all of your devices. There's so many different steps, checks, and measures that it does of surge protection and whatnot that I have absolute confidence that this will never burn out one of my devices. This will shut down the battery before any damage ever happens or if you're drawing too much power, it'll shut down the battery. It has so many protections built into it and so much technology built into it that it's super intelligent. And that is, I think, the thing that distinguishes OmniCharge from the other brands out on the market, is just the amount of time, effort, research, and development that they've put in to making this the smartest battery bank out there. And that, I think, is the thing that I appreciate the most. In terms of pricing for these units, the Omni 20 comes in at $199 US for the basic kit. And if you get the bundle, which comes with a couple of accessories, to include this swanky little case, the DC charger, as well as one or two other bits and pieces. I think it comes with a couple of cables. You're looking at $249 US for that bundle, which in my opinion is worth the upgrade. All right, so that's the Omni 20 Plus. Now let's have a look at the Omni 20C, which is virtually the same in a lot of ways. It has the same capacity and all of that, the same build, the same design overall. The main difference though is they have substituted the AC port and the DC port for additional USB-C ports with one major upgrade. So on this side, you have a USB-C port, you've got your same two USB-A ports, and then on this side, you have a USB-C power delivery port that can draw up to 100 watts of power, which is massive for USB-C. Most tap out at 60 watts. This one here is 60 watts, this one here is 100 watts. Now, bear in mind, they can only draw a combined voltage of 120 watts. So you can't draw 100 out of this one, 60 out of this one. It's 120 combined. The other cool thing that this battery can do is, in addition to powering devices, it can also act as a USB transfer hub for data. So if you plug this port here on the left into your computer, you then have access to this USB-C port and these two USB-A ports for data transfer. So you can be transferring files from a hard drive or something like that on the go. So we just dive into the menu here. I select, I think, that button there. It changes the USB-C option to a hub option. And now this thing is configured as a USB 2 transfer hub, which is a really cool little benefit that I don't see on a lot of battery banks. So that's kind of cool. Like the Omni 20, the Omni 20C also has pass-through power, so you can be charging the battery through one of the USB-C ports and then plug your device into the other USB-C ports and the USB-A ports and continue to charge your other devices at the same time as the battery. Now, the pricing of this unit is the same as the basic price of the Omni 20 Plus at $199 US. And there is no bundle price for this one, as it doesn't come with a charger, but you can pick up the case separately. All right, so that's it for the Omni 20 series. Now we're gonna have a look at the Omni Mobile series. And originally this came as a 4 battery bank collection, but unfortunately they've discontinued the 2 smallest battery banks, which is a bit of a shame because this one in particular is the one that I probably use the most just for charging mobile phones and small devices. It's small, it's lightweight, it had a USB-C and a USB-A port. You can chuck it in a bag and it's never big enough, you know, to get in the way. So that's a shame. This one here was like a lipstick sized thing that just had an inbuilt USB-A port, and it could have a phone. This one at the moment has a lightning connector, but you can have a phone, either USB-C or lightning, that was built in. But I kind of understand why they've done away with these two, because these are the ones that are the most similar to other battery banks on the market. That leaves the following 2 still available in the series, which are the 2 larger of the 4 battery banks. All right, let's start with the incredibly memorably titled Omni Mobile 25600, which is the larger of the 2. Now, this thing is essentially a stripped down Omni 20 in terms of features and technology, but it actually has a higher capacity battery, which makes sense because it's actually a little bit larger. This one has a capacity of 25,600 milliamp hours or 92 watt hours, which is the maximum that you can take with you on airline travel. As always, check with your airline before you fly with any kind of battery bank, but they've pretty much maxed this out as the top for most airlines. So let's have a look at the different outputs available on this unit. So this one has USB-C output, which is up to 60 watts. So you can charge laptops on this battery. You can do 20 volts up to 3 amps. out of the USB-C, so 60 watts. It also has 2 USB-A ports. Both of them are quick charge 3.0, so they can charge your phone very, very quickly. And you also have a DC barrel out as well. That's a 5.5 by 2.1 mil DC port. And it has 4 voltages that you can select. So it doesn't have quite the same specificity that you can like really dial in a specific voltage out of the Omni 20s. This one just has the 4 most common voltages. You've got 12 volt, 16 volt, 19 volt, and 24 volt, up to a max of 3.5 amps, giving you 72 watts. So if you've got really sensitive electronics, then you want to go with the Omni 20. If you've got something that just takes straight 12 volt, then you might be able to get away with this one. It also has a wireless charging plate on the top of the unit as well, so you can wirelessly charge your devices with 10 watts of power. Similarly to the Omni 20, this has 2 ways that you can charge the battery. You can charge it either by the DC input, so you can go DC power from 5 up to 30 volts, up to a max of 45 watts, or you can charge it via the USB-C port as well. Other features that this battery has is it also has pass-through charging, so you can charge other devices whilst charging the battery, and it has the same 11 layers of protection as all of the other OmniCharge batteries here. By taking out those extra layers of technology, you're able to save yourself quite a bit of money, as this one comes in at around $130. All right, now let's have a look at the next battery in the Omni Mobile series, which is the equally memorably named Omni 12800. And again, that gets its name based on its capacity. It has 12,800 milliamp hours or 47 watt hours. So you can definitely fly with this battery bank. So this one here is the smallest battery currently available from OmniCharge. And this actually packs a lot of power considering how small this battery is. You can fit this one in your pocket absolutely easily. So you charge this battery over USB-C, and I think you can charge it up to 40 watts. It also has pass-through charging, so you can go in the USB-C and out the USB-A port. It's got the same 11 layers of protection as all of the other batteries. And it also has one USB-A port, which is Quick Charge 3, and again, a 10 watt wireless charging plate on the top. So small unit, very, very simple. Only got the 3 outputs, and it comes in at $80 US. Now, obviously this battery has the lowest capacity out of all of them, and you probably won't get a full charge on, say, a laptop, but it is capable of giving you a bit of a top up. So if you're out on the go and you've just got this small battery pack in your bag, that can be really, really helpful. Say you're at a coffee shop or on the train or something like that, and you've run out of power on your laptop, this can be a bit of a lifesaver. I use this mostly for mobile phone charging and small devices, not for any of the larger devices that we use. I reserve those for some of these bigger batteries, but this one is a really handy little unit and it's definitely worth the price. All right, so now we're moving on to the Omni Ultimate, which is the Big Bertha on the table here. This has a removable battery, so you can actually interchange the batteries between these two as you go, which is the only one on the table to do it, and they claim to be the only one on the market to do it. So this has a massive capacity of 38,400 milliamp hours or 142 watt hours, so you definitely cannot fly with this battery. It definitely exceeds the maximum capacity. It's pretty hefty. It comes in at 1.4 kilograms, and it also has the same OLED display on the front as the Omni 20s. So similarly to the Omni 20s, the Omni Ultimate also has an AC output. I have the European version here because it's the only one that does 230 volts, but you can get a US version that does up to 120 volts. And it also does high voltage DC as well. Now on this side, we have a different style of DC port, and this is the DC output. And it has a different flavor of DC so that you can actually use these adapters to give you different barrel sizes for different laptops and things like that. So this has the same ability to select different DC voltages as the Omni 20, but it goes one step further. This one can do a range of 5 volts up to 60 volts DC with 0.1 degrees of accuracy, so you can dial that right in if you have a specific voltage that you need, and it can do a max of up to 8 amps. So this can do up to 150 watts of DC power, which is pretty incredible. This one also has a USB-C port, which is again USB-C power delivery, which does up to 60 watts, so 20 volts, 3 amps. And it also has 2 USB-A ports, which are both quick charge 3 USB-A ports. This unit does not feature any wireless charging plates. I would put that down to the fact that it was one or the other when it came to the removable battery. How do you charge this unit? Well, you can charge it via that DC barrel port, anywhere from 5 to 25 volts up to 90 watts, or via the USB-C port up to 60 watts. Now, yes, you can charge the additional battery with a separate cable. So you can be using the Omni Ultimate and charging the spare battery and interchange them as you go, which is a really, really handy feature. So this one has the same additional features as the Omni 20s and the Omni 20C. It does pass-through charging, so USB-C input or DC input, and it will output either via the AC or the USB-A ports. And you can charge this one again from a solar panel of up to 45 watts. That can be any solar panel on the market. You also have the same 11 layers of battery protection as well. So the main draw card for me is if you're going off grid, say, or you're out shooting on a location where you don't have access to any power, is that you get double the capacity in the battery itself. And then you get that again with the additional battery. So you get 4 times the amount of power that you would get from the Omni 20 Plus without having to touch a charger. And you also get access to that additional AC voltage as well, which is very, very handy. This unit here is also dust and splash resistant. So it is weather sealed, which all of these other batteries are not. This one here, you can see, has air vents to help with heat management. But this one here is all covered by these rubber coatings, and all of the ports are contained under these rubber flaps. So this one is designed to be out in the elements away from mains power for extended periods of time. The one downside to this additional battery is that it's a little tricky to get in and out. It's not like just a latch where you just slot it in and then you switch it out to another one really quickly. It's a bit of a mission to get into it. Under this rubber weather sealing, you've got 3 screws on the top and 3 screws on the bottom, all of which need to be undone before you can remove the battery pack and interchange it for the next one. So it's not a quick operation for those that are thinking that they'll just be able to switch it in and out on the go, which is what I initially thought when I bought this unit. So bear that in mind. If you want to be able to switch the battery out, there is a little bit of time that will take to do. So in terms of features, the Omni Ultimate is very similar to the Omni 20 Plus. It's just the big brother version, but it is almost double the capacity. So for those that need that extra juice and they need those extra 20 odd watts of AC power, and they like the fact that they can have an interchangeable battery, this is for those discerning users, but most users would get away absolutely fine with the Omni 20 Plus. Those things do come at a cost, however, coming in at $399 US, and the additional battery is on top of that as well. So there you have it, guys. That is my long-term review of the OmniCharge series of batteries. They actually have a brand new battery, the Omni Off-Grid, which looks absolutely insane. If you thought the Omni Ultimate was large, this thing is basically a mini power station. It's like this big. It has like 4 AC outputs, a heap of USB-C and USB-A outputs, and a range of other features. If it's something that interests you, go check it out. It's definitely designed for those who are going to be off-grid for a long period of time, and they need to power basically anything. I think it does up to 1500 watts of AC power. So thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and let me know. And if you did not enjoy this video because you think it's too long-winded, it's too boring, and it's a little too technical for your taste, hit that dislike button and let me know down in the comments. All feedback is good feedback, and I want to hear what you guys think of these videos that we're putting out there. So if I sound a little bit like an infomercial at times, it's not because someone's paying me, it's because I'm genuinely excited by power banks. And that's weird. Make sure to hit subscribe to see more tutorials and reviews just like this one, and we will see you in the next video.